I want to try something. This game, Sunless Sea, has become one of my favorites recently, and I'm just gonna have a beer and play Sunless Sea, and we'll see how this goes. I've played a few games before, and I've actually managed to win once, but I don't think I'm going to be able to replicate that success, particularly because I'm going to be starting over. Normally, you play a succession of sea captains, and every time you die, you pass a little bit of advantage on to the next captain. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to start fresh. And I'm going to try to read most of the text. And there's a lot of text in the game, so we will see how that goes. This initial load screen's kind of long. But the main thrust of Sunless Sea is that you are riding around a giant underground sea, doing cool sea captain stuff with a lot of horror and steampunk themes flying around. Sometimes literally flying around, sometimes attacking you. Ah yes. 3 decades ago, in the reign of Victoria, London was stolen by bats. Now it lies a mile below the surface. It was dreadfully inconvenient for everyone, but it opened a vast black ocean to you. Welcome to the Untersee. Untersee? Untersee. I am going to choose a past, which will let me get some sort of advantage. I now lodge in a room above the Blind Helmsman, a tavern in London. Let's see, what do I want to be? Now you're a captain, now you belong to the Untersee, but who were you before? Here's where I get to pick my backstory, and this backstory will give me a bonus to one of the game's 5 skills. There's Iron, which increases the damage that the attacks of your ship do. There's Mirrors, Detection and Perception. The higher your mirrors, the quicker you can shoot in combat. Veils is all about deception and stealth. The more veils you have, the harder it is for enemies to spot your ship. Pages, it's knowledge, and the more pages you have, the faster you pile up secrets, which are very important currency in this game. And then hearts. It helps with terror. Terror is a big thing here. You need to not go insane. So I am going to go ahead and be an ordained priest. You fell from grace. There is nothing left ashore for you. An anonymous benefactor has found this way out for you. Perhaps, at Zee, you can overcome your appetites. Oh, God. Alright, well, this will give you a bonus to hearts. The skill of healing and morale. Let's do this. You know an engineer who doesn't have much time left. She'd like to die at sea. Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, we now have one gall-eyed engineer. Her eyes will hatch soon? Oh, okay. That's cool. Talk to her to find out if she'd like to die anywhere in particular. You were a fallen priest, now you're a Zee captain. That's how I'm going to pronounce that from now on. I've gained echoes. That's the currency. One of the many currencies. They are the currency of the bazaar, the Echo Bazaar, and thus the currency of London. I get a bonus to hearts now. I also get a bonus because I have a comatose ferret as a ship mascot. So that's a thing. And I have a gall-eyed engineer. So that's cool. I get to choose an ambition now. Ooh. This is the win condition. I have only ever won once, and that's by wealth. You know how it is to be poor. Now you want a mansion, servants, fine clothes, a family perhaps. That was attainable. A private kingdom is something that I can't do yet. I can't pick this. I don't know what I have to do to pick this. I need impossible 1. Whatever that means. It will be available someday. I've tried your father's bones. That's very difficult. It's very, very difficult. But I don't anticipate winning, so let's go for it. Your father was lost at Zee. You never knew him, but you've often dreamed of him. Find and return his remains to London for a decent burial. Find where he fell and bring him home. When you found your father's bones, you can retire to Victory, explore fallen London to find your first clue. And one last scrap of paperwork, and one thing that I love about this game, it lets you choose the pronoun, or the title, by which your captain would like to be referred as to. I'm going to go with Sir, because I'm a dude, and my captain is going to be a dude. A last piece of advice. Explore. Take chances. This captain will probably die. The Zee is hungry, but each captain passes on lessons to the next. Very true. Very true. So, my name, because it's sort of my default name for when I need a name for something, is going to be Jeff. But it's going to be Jeff with one F. And every time I die, and I anticipate dying a lot, I'm going to add an F. And we'll see how stupid that gets over time. I like this picture. Let's do that. I am Jeff. Your father, lost at Zee so very long ago. The trail was cold, but now you have a lead. The Bishop of St. Fiacre, this cadaverous and sinister prelate, interviewed you in person just before you were cast out of the priesthood. He seemed surprisingly sympathetic. After what happened with your father, he said, I suppose I shouldn't be surprised. But what did he mean? In a candlelit room, the bishop's face is stern and shadowed. I do not condone what you have done, but many of us, many of us have, eccentric appetites. Yes, I will assist you, but you must help me satisfy one of my own cravings. Dark drop coffee is difficult to find in London. Bring me, let us say 2 sacks of beans. Bring me this, and I shall share with you what I know. And then there's a tip about where you can find dark drop coffee. I could buy it here, but I'm going to choose not to, because it's way more expensive here. Anyway, this is Fallen London. Deep, dark, and marvelous, all voyages start here, and this is where successful voyages end. I have a bunch of options for where to go. There is an advice for captains section, which I am going to sell, because I'm a veteran captain and don't need any more advice. Gives me a little bit of money. Someone else will better appreciate M. Demue's work. Anyway, London. She's the greatest city on the Untersee, and don't you forget it. I would like to visit the Admiralty's survey office, because they'll pay for information from Zee captains. The Admiralty's picket fleets and intelligence networks are long gone. The survey office pays Zee captains a small sum for recent information. So when I go to visit other ports, I'll be able to gather port reports and bring the information back here for money. And every time I do that, I'll get some favor with the Admiralty of London. And let's see, when it comes to anything in particular that they need... this port. Speak to our agent there in return. We'll see that you're rewarded. I need to retrieve strategic information from Guider's Mourn in the Corsair's Forest, somewhere not far from home waters. I don't need to speak to anybody else. I don't have anything else. Out into the foggy street. Turn your collar up. Let's see. I can't visit the university, because I need to provide them with a secret. And I don't have any yet. I can carouse in Wolfstack Docks, which helps reduce the terror that I have. Currently I have 0 terror, and it can have other good stuff happen. I can hire on more crew. I don't really want to. I have 8 of 10 crew slots filled already. Let's see. I can offer passage to a tomb colonist. An emigrant will pay to be taken north to Venderbite. Yeah, let's do that. It's oddly difficult to die in Fallen London, but when a Londoner is too tatty and wretched to live, they wrap themselves in bandages and take ship for the tomb colonies. Your crew cart these ones aboard in padded coffins. They'll sleep there until the journey is done. There's a tomb colonist in my hold now. Take them north to the colony of Venderbite and sell them there. Okay. Just what precisely is their problem? Let's see. I can put my ship in dry dock to repair it, but it's totally full. The hull is full at 75 of 75. If I run out of hull, I die. If I... there's also a hunger meter. I can starve to death, which is fun. I can also eat my crew, I guess. And if I get to 100 terror, I'll probably go insane or have my crew mutiny or something terrible will happen to me. I can adopt a Blemigan Gallivanter, but they're these little mushroom dudes that... a Blemigan sits atop a splintered crate, clicking and whistling at captains as they come near. I'm going to pass on that. The way this works is whenever you're in a port, you'll have options like this to go and do different things. Like I have a shortcut to the Bishop of St. Fiacre for finding out about my father's bones. Which, I want to get to that eventually. There's my lodgings. Here, you may catch up with your correspondence, rest, or retire altogether from seafaring life. The better your lodgings, the better the quality of your retirement. Naturally. I will choose to read the morning papers, the Unexpurgated Gazette, the magazine formerly known as the London Magazine, the Spiteful Trumpeter. News. Let's see. The Echo Bazaar, that enigmatic marketplace, has increased its tax on love stories. The Traitor Empress has forbidden singing in the street outside her palace. The anarchists of the Calendar Council have inexplicably dynamited a drinking fountain. The Ministry of Public Decency has located and destroyed a nest of gallbladder wasps. And now I have one recent news. Outlying colonies are often eager for this. And true, one of the best resources in the game is knowledge. Knowledge of news, knowledge of secrets, knowledge of horrible, unspeakable truths. Yeah. But currently I just live in a room above the Blind Helmsman, which is just a tavern. I can purchase an elegant townhouse later if I get 1,000 echoes, but I only have 100, and I'm probably going to want to do stuff with that. Anyway, there's also a passenger who would like to come aboard the ship. An unsettled salvager needs to go to Venderbite. She visits Wolfstack every day in Zee-stained rags, begging for passage. No captain will look her in the eye. Yeah, sure. She embraces you. I'd kiss you, but my beloved is prone to jealousy. We were parted, but the ancient captains at Venderbite will know where she is. Alright, cool. I can go to the shops here and buy any equipment, but I know that Venderbite is not far away. It shouldn't be anyway. I can buy weapons. There's more rare commodities that I can only sell here. I can't buy. Yeah, I could just buy the coffee beans here, but it would be like all of my money. I also only have so much cargo space. Let's see, I can buy weapons, weird weapons, engines, new lamps. Having a lamp on the front of your boat makes it so you go insane a little slower. Which, you know, helps. Let's see, I think that's about it. Oh, I should talk to my gall-eyed engineer. You're so beautiful, she tells you dreamily. There are briars in your mouth. Her left eye pulses slowly. It's always difficult to know what she's actually seeing. If with all of your officers, you can increase your stats by trading secrets. In this case, the engineer can increase my veils. I want to talk about steam and motion. I still see every coil of vapor. Oh, that's creepy. But I want to know why she has come to Zee in this state. My eyes will hatch soon. Okay, well, that's lovely. The gallbladder wasp. You know it? Its children are in me, she smiles. I can't be sorry. I can see such things. Oh, I want to know what she's seeing. Whoa. King Eater's castle, she says at last, rather breathily. Her hands go up to her throat. I would like to see King Eater's castle through these eyes before I go. King Eater's castle can be found at the far southeast of the Untersee. It's a terrible place. I know, because I've been there before. Let's take a... No, I didn't want that. I want the map. My chart. So this is the Untersee. It's randomly generated every time you start a new game. Things on the west coast, I believe, remain the same. Fallen London is always here. And I think the south coast is always the same. King Eater's castle is over here at the very extreme southeast corner. I don't want to go there. At least not yet, because that's a really long distance and I've got a really shitty ship to start with. Anyway, we are going to set off and sail north to Venderbite to drop off that tomb colonist and the unsettled salvager. Now this is where things can be a little slow, particularly in the early game, because like I said, I don't have a terribly good ship. But this does give me some time to talk about the game and to discover things. And as you can see in the bottom left corner, every time I discover something, I gain fragments, and fragments eventually lead to secrets. I want secrets. Secrets are very helpful. And you can see I've got a big old light on the front of my ship. I can turn it on and off. I want to keep it on right now though, even though it burns a little more fuel, because I don't want to gain more terror and go insane. This little circle of light over here is a port. It is Hunter's Keep, located very close to London proper. I'm actually going to stop here. I can dock, but I wanted this to happen. Perfect. A symbol for something awaiting me in port. If I were to dock without this, there might not be anything helpful there for me. But since there is, I know that I'll at least get to go do something. Hunter's Keep, a quiet isle, a grand old house. A hump of dark rock swathed in mist like 100 other Untersee islands. But here's a grand house, windows aglow, lawns impossibly green and lush in the false starlight. Raked gravel paths. You stand on the dock as the sea nudges the ship's sides. An unexpected warm breeze carries the faintest trace of lavender. I could present myself at the house. I could also walk in the gardens. I would like to reconnoiter the island first. Plunging cliffs, soft green lawns, a well tucked away in a fold of the grounds. Anything else? And now I have a port report. Like I said, I can take those back to London and sell them at the Admiralty. The sea's silence. Ships rarely come here. Nothing changes, even the weather. The house is the heart of the isle. The house and the sisters. But the Admiralty may be happy to know that nothing's changed, at least. So, yeah, not much there. I do want to spy on the house. You have a chance of succeeding at these things based on your stats. It was a relatively easy challenge because it's just an easy one. I don't have great veils. In fact, I have very low veils. It's fine. Piano music drifts across the terrace. You peer through a half-open French window into a grand parlor, grand in size, if a little reduced in style by dust and neglect. A dark-haired, pale-skinned young woman bends earnestly over a piano keyboard. Another, fair-haired but unmistakably her sister, sprawls on the sofa with a book. A third sits by the fireplace, staring sorrowfully into the embers. Soon, she says, and the piano music falters and stops. We'll go hungry, and then the end will come. For me, but not for you. The pianist raises her eyes from the keyboard. Hush, if we don't speak of it. Has she seen you? You withdraw. So now I know something of Hunter's Keep. I know there's 3 siblings there, but I'm going to present myself at the house, because they probably know I'm here now. A maid with smoldering topaz eyes shows you into the parlor where 3 young women wait. Smoldering topaz eyes, I wonder if they know the Gaullite engineer. A visitor, the youngest woman cries. The next youngest chuckles, the oldest sighs. Do excuse the indecorum. Visitors are rare. You are very welcome. I am Cynthia, the noisy one is Phoebe, the cheerful one is Lucy. You are in good time for lunch. Will you join us? Yeah, so now I'm acquainted with the sisters of Hunter's Keep. Let's see. I am going to have lunch with the sister Phoebe, because currently we have a foster cat in the basement, who we're calling Phoebe, and maybe it'll make her like me more. Anyway, Phoebe is soft voice, watchful, unpredictable. Here's a story. Phoebe has a story to tell, of 2 lovers parted by water, of a raven that carried messages, of a fragment of the moon. She beats time on the table as she speaks, as if to a song only she can hear. The effect is hypnotic. Your attention drifts out through the skylight of the dining room to the false stars glittering in the roof of the cavern. You drift like a puffball spore. The Untersee shimmers below. Islands lie like mineral specimens on black velvet. Ships bob like wood chips between the islands. Vast spined things pulse in the depths. There is a scent like the scent before a storm. The storm came, says Phoebe quietly. Everything changed. Somewhere in there, you finish the last course. The scowling maid reluctantly serves cheese and Bath Oliver biscuits. So I've gained 1 memory of distant shores, one of the many currencies of stories and knowledge. Now I'm acquainted with the sisters. I've gained 1 unit of supplies, which is great. That will help me stave off hunger. I've lost all the hunger that I had. I did not gain any more fragments. Again, put those together to get a secret. And I now have the gods of the Zee Storm's attention. An ancient anger knows me. It's probably fine. There's nothing to buy here. There's nothing available for you here. Perhaps once, but not now and not for you. We're gonna leave. There are some locations, like here, Low Barnet, which are underwater. And I can get to them eventually, but I need to complete a quest or 2 to make my ship capable of underwater travel, and that's not exactly my first priority. But it's okay. Oh, what are you? Oh, it's a pirate steam pinnacle. Okay, let's do combat. So, I'm going to pause the game to explain this. Combat is based on sailing in circles and shooting each other, basically. I have 1 gun, a deck weapon. I forget what it's called. You can see there's a bar charging around it. And once it... I can fire it once it lights up like it has now. Ow. But I'm only guaranteed a hit if it's totally full. Ah. So right now I kind of want to stay to where it would have a hard time shooting me. And I won. So, there's that. Now I can explore the wreckage. The ship is yours. What will you do with her? Loot and scuttle her. She's a vile old vessel, and these Z's aren't safe. Take what you can and move on. These... pinnaces? You know, I don't know how to pronounce that word. They don't sail far from their hidden harbors, but there's something at the back of the hold. A bolt of fabric. Shake it out a little and let it glimmer in the light. You can find spider silk in London, of course. There are troubles there with sorrow spider infestation, like anywhere in the Neath. The Neath is everywhere underground here in this big-ass cave. But for the real quality, you need to go east, to the Connate, or to the fang-bristling fastness of Savior's Rocks. Now I have a bolt of spider silk. So that's cool. And we're going to keep sailing towards Venderbite like we meant to. Yeah. Oh, yep. So every time I hear that dong, that means this is back where something awaits me in port. And that dong means that I have gained a secret. So I can speak to my officers to increase my abilities, and I'm actually going to do that, just to demonstrate it. Let's talk to the Gaullite engineer against our better judgment. The engineer has learnt a great deal about the powers and weaknesses of steel and fire and water. Once she must have been an extraordinary asset, but she can only express what she knows as poetry, filtered through half-erotic visions. Oh god. Roses and rivers and something like rain. It's quite pretty in its way, but it makes it challenging to understand what bit of the engine you need to bang on when the engine won't go. So I've gained 1 fails. Now I have 27, because the engineer herself gives me 1 bonus. Okay. We're done. We're done with that. I haven't had the Gaullite engineer before. She's creepy. She's very creepy. Anyway, this is Venderbite coming up here. Let's just dock and get this over with. As you can see, I'm already starting to chew through fuel. Oh, nope, nope. Wrong turn, wrong turn. I'm trying to point at something and then I... yeah. Alright. So, I've brought this decaying tomb colonist emigrant north. The new Jonah. Your passenger stares somberly by the rail. Salt sent me a dream. You must find my father. Well, okay, that's... hey, you know, me too. Salt tells me that you'll find my father in the belly of a monstrous eel. Gods never lie. Gods never lie? That seems optimistic, but if she's right, she'll reward you for her father's return. I need to go open a monstrous eel. Great. Okay. Alright, anyway, this is the tomb colony of Venderbite. On deck, you can hear the sound that 1,000 bandaged dead make as they shuffle and cough. It's something like the world's most restless concert audience or the world's most plague-ridden cathedral. I'm gonna find ancient captains to speak to the unsettled salvager. It shouldn't be too hard. What else have they got to do around here but molder? Terrible bad luck. An assortment of decrepit Z captains gathers around her, compelled by tradition, honor, or boredom. She picks her nails and closes her eyes when at last she speaks, I want to find Lady Black. The captains that can run do. The rest shuffle away as swiftly as they're able. Only one remains behind. How long were you down there? He asks. 20 minutes, she replies. The captain puts his hand on her shoulder. Seek the house of the keel in Polythreme, he says. But if you can forget her, do. It's possible. He embraces her and departs. Okay, well, cool. That didn't really help us much. There are some quests here, but I can't do them because I lack some requirements. Let's see, a dusty glass of wine. That's a way to lower terror, but I don't have much terror right here. I have 3 out of 100. I can explore Venderbite. Oh, I'd like to gather gossip. Who's plotting what out in the tomb colonies? Along the coast of the Untersee, it's remarkably hard to die. The decrepit and nearly dead who leave London become tomb colonists and settle here in bandaged peace. But they don't give up their ties to home or their politics. You gather a handful of complex clues, enough to keep your contacts in London interested. Cool. Now I have a port report. Port report. Blech. Let's explore Venderbite. Here they favor candlelight over gaslight. The shadows are swagged like cobwebs. The tomb colonists stand still enough to be mistaken for sculpture until they laugh or cough. One building in 3 seems abandoned. Hey, there's a raggedy fellow. I'm a good seaman. I'm yours if you'll have me. Will you have me? I'm hungry. I'll work hard. He seems likely enough, if a little ragged and sorrowful. Yeah, why not? I could use an extra hand. The way through the waves. All the way back to the ship, he talks excitedly about the Zeeman's craft. You start paying attention when he mentions navigational tricks you hadn't come across. With luck, he'll work as hard as he talks. There may be further effects from this decision. Dun dun dun! I've gained 1 crew, now I have 9 out of 10, and I've gained 1 more Veils. Neat. Okay. Let's see. Let's visit the first curator. Zee captains, the first curator gives audience. The first curator is responsible for the preservation of the tomb colonies. It has been here much longer than London, like all the oldest tomb colonists. But even tomb colonists dissolve in the end. Its time is close. No more light, the obsequious steward cautions you. The curator is terribly afraid of moths. He opens the door, and you step into near darkness. A pair of luminous lamplighter bees buzz in a latticed ivory tube. There is no other source of light. A bandaged shape, no larger than a child, lies crumpled on a couch. It lifts its head with obvious effort. It takes several seconds for you to distinguish its voice from the soft buzz of the bees. Let's see. I'd like to listen to a whispered request. Zee Captain, Silkskin, not much left of me. I will go into the Grand Sanatorium. Bring me colors, 7 colors. Pay well. Cosmogone, Irigo, Pelican. Steward has the list. Find them here and there across the wide Black Sea. Alright, yeah. I will accept that. Thank you. This poor flesh thirsts for colors. It collapses, rustling, back onto the couch. Even the effort of speaking seems to have diminished it a little. The audience is over. As the door opens, it shrinks from the finger of light that reaches across the floor. Outside, the obsequious steward nods. The book? Yes, the book. He hands you a slim, illustrated volume. The curator is old as dust. We will all be grateful if you do it this one last favor. Now I have a book called The Neath Bow. A book for children. 1 page devoted to each of the colors of the Neath, which are not found on the surface. Apple cyan, the blue of memory and brightest coral, cosmogone, the color of remembered suns, the fecund, the fetid, the fungal, these flourish in the glow of cosmogone. Gant, which remains when all other colors are eaten. Gant can be found where shadows are myriad. Irigo, no one remembers why. Irigo colors the forgotten corners of home. Pelagian, the color of the deepest sea. Someone has scrawled in the margin, beyond the gate there is a sea more sunless. Well, that's creepy. Violant, when blood is shed in a spired place, violent ink is employed for the most desperate treaties. And Virik. Behind your mirror, V names Virik, the color of shallow sleep. Oh, that's pleasant. That's pleasant. Let's not... No. No. I don't want that. Okay. I could sell my recent news or the memory of distant shores, but I don't... no. We are instead going to sail north. Further north. Very, very slowly. Later in the game, you're able to soup up your ship a lot. Oh, there's bats over there. I don't want to fight those bats. Those bats can kiss my ass. But right now, my ship is slow as dirt. And about as maneuverable as dirt. We would like to continue going north. As you can see, we're slowly filling in the map. Very slowly. But I know for a fact that there should be 2 more towns north of here. Codex and Wither. Wither as in, like, the question, like, Wither the so-and-so. Anyway, now we're getting to the northernmost part of the map. You can go north off the edge of the map, but it's terrible. I did it once accidentally, and I lost all my crew and pretty much went insane on the spot. I wouldn't recommend it. Cool. Something now awaits me in port. As we pass through the Censor's Arch, it can be difficult to tell sometimes whether something can be sailed around or under. But if it's got a little bit of a bright outline, that means that it's a solid object that you don't want to crash into. Anyway, here's Wither. Slowly. Slowly. Okay, cool. Wither! Oh! Ah, dang it. Ow. Ow. Stop hitting yourself on the side. A chilly city beside a waste of salt. Behind the great arch over the bay, the pale wastes stretch, white and silent as the face of the moon. From here you might almost imagine they were snow. North of the city, the salt pools fizz with unlikely color. Let's see here. I'm going to gather intelligence. The citizens of Wither enjoy questions. Enjoy questions so much that they always answer a question with another question. This can make intelligence gathering frustrating. Are you asking for any particular reason? At what time of day? Is that your hat? Might it be 6? It could be 6. Eventually, you cobble together enough implication and supposition to compose a report. So there's another port report. Yay! And while I'm here, I can't buy any of this. This requires Zee-ztories. And a sign reads, "Bones, please. The proprietor will sell you beast meat for stories or buy your ivory." I don't have any of that. Okay. So back in Wither, let's explore the town. Wither is a quiet, chilly town of gray stone and closed courtyards. The people are neither exactly unfriendly nor exactly hospitable. They have the irritating habit of answering a question with a question. You fall into a reverie as you wander the shore. There were words in the wind, a story of sorts, of a gate in the north, of a pale light that began there, of a drowned light that will end there, of a high wilderness that other ships may sail. You lift your eyes. On the wall of a salt works, someone has scrawled, "Is there a sea more sunless?" Okay, well that's twice we've seen that now. I now have Gods of the Sea, Storm's attention. Another ancient anger knows me. Great. Okay. Cool. Let's go find the other island that I know is up here. As this is on the west edge of the map. These things will always be here in this configuration. Venderbite will always be just north of London. Wither will always be north of Venderbite. Codex will always be slightly to the east of Wither. And I've gained another secret, which will be great because I plan to head back to London right after this and use that secret to unlock something. But first I need to actually dock in Codex, because I'd like to get a port report. Port report! An Isle of Answers. Codex, a desperate cave full of mute exiles and an inexplicable colony of shivering, bad-tempered monkeys. Great. No one will speak. This is a challenge. The exiles see many come, fewer leave. Some are even willing to communicate, but their gestures are unfamiliar, the meaning's unclear. Even when you can understand, these are answers without questions, as useless as a key without a lock. Now I have a port report for Codex. The exiles do not speak, and the monkeys merely chatter grumpily. Still, there is information to be gleaned here. There's not much more I can do here. I'm going to buy a little bit of fuel, deplete some of my money. I don't want to. Yeah, I can't do any of these. That person wants passage to the undersea spire of Scrimshander, which I can't go to yet, and a doomed monster hunter that requires a searing enigma, of which I have 0. So let's head south and head back to London. These are going to be fun because I honestly don't plan to edit these at all, because it would be incredibly annoying. Really, really annoying. Because there's so much of travel, particularly in the early game, there's so much travel time like this, where I'm just sort of quietly sailing. Come sail away, come sail away, come sail away with me. Yeah, I'm not close yet. I could, if I wanted to put full power to the engines, but then there's a very good chance that my engines will explode or something, and I could lose crew, or lose hull, or, oh crap, bats. There's bats. I found bats. Bats. Okay. Nope, 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 nope. Go away, bats. Nope, no bats. Back up. Reversing the ship. Reversing the ship. Oh, there's another bat swarm over there. No. No, no, no. I don't want it. Okay. Let's see. Little leathery corpses lie scattered across your deck. The rest of the swarm vanishes into the Neathy dark. We're gonna eat some bats. They're succulent with stolen blood. Into the pot. An unorthodox diet. Those little bones are troublesome and the flesh a little gamey, but salt them well enough and they're quite edible. So I gain 1 supplies and I gain 1 terror. In the early game, I think that's worth it, actually. No. Go away. Go away. More bats. I don't want bats. Yeah. This is an island that I've never been entirely sure what it's for. There's a bunch of bubbles right there that suggest that there's something underwater, but I've been through here with a submarine, as they call them, and There wasn't anything there. But who knows? Maybe we'll find out. Okay, come on. There's a fog bank over there. We don't want to go in that, because that makes it harder. Oh, there's a regular ship. No, that's not an enemy. We're not going to just start pirating random ships. We're way too weak for that. Later on, we could do that with impunity, and it'd be fun. But for right now, yeah, we're gonna just keep sailing south. We're almost in Hunter's Keep, which means we're almost back at London. I don't need to stop at Hunter's Keep again because we've been there. We don't need another port. You can only get one port report at a time from a place. So I can't get a second report from Hunter's Keep until I've gone and turned in the first report that I gathered from there. Whoa. I like hear more ship noises from nearby, and it's weird. Oh, before we go back to London, I'm actually going to go stop over here at this lightship, because I know that they pay for recent news. Specifically, they pay with Zee-ztories, and those are very useful in whether you can trade them for supplies and resources, and they're useful in many other places. Far from home. Its clear, bright beam warms the way. I will speak to the crew, for they long for news of home. In the bleaching glare of the lens among the smells of oil and metal, you sip tea and chat. The Z's terror recedes. So I lose some terror, I gain a Zee-story, and I burn up my recent news. But that's fine. That's totally fine. Let's go back home to London. It's possible to run out of fuel right here and then have to pay some jerk to tow you the last little bit of the way. But you don't want to run out of fuel. If you run out of fuel while you're at sea, then you're going to have a bad time. And you're probably going to die and have to go on to your next captain. Happily, we're fully intact. Well, mostly intact. The hull is a little dinged from the time I crashed into the port. An inspection by the Ministry of Public Decency. Some things are too illegal for the Customs Service to admit the existence of. The Ministry are here looking for those. I have nothing to hide. I shrug and invite them to search your ship as thoroughly as they would like. They leave scuff marks on the newly scrubbed deck and take great pleasure in tangling the rigging. They find nothing more dangerous than moldy ship's biscuit. And now the lights of London welcome me home. All the clatter and song of the dockside, it soothes the soul. Are there messages from the Harbour Master for me? Let's see, something has changed in the Neath. Someone wants to sign on. I have another free evening. And the Rose Market is here. So let's go check out the Roser's Wharf. The Rose Market caters to collectors and eccentrics, anyone with exotic tastes and the gumption to harass Z-captains. According to the archaic rules of the market, you can only make one trade per visit. Choose wisely. They'll pay higher prices than just at the shops, but I don't have any of these things. I can consider a specialist surgeon. She is staying at a respectable boarding house near the docks and has made it known that she is available for work. I specialize in amputations. It's easy to acquire unwanted appendages at Z. Huh. I will employ this woman. She comes with a bag full of knives and her own personal sharpening stone. Don't touch these. Don't let anyone else touch them. And, yeah, I have no more new recruits. But I can appoint a surgeon, the Clattery heir. She's an expert in amputations. It's great. Let's see, I'll go to my lodgings and read the morning papers again. The Khanate is threatening war. They always are. London's colonies on the Cornelian coast want independence. They always do. The Untersee, the papers report, has undergone another alteration. Not yet it hasn't, you'd know. Oh-ho, a promotional coupon from Mrs. Plenty's Provisioners for a half cask of salt herring. You could use that. And I gain 1 supplies from that. Nice. I could rest here and heal a wound if I had any, and I'd get a restful night, but I don't need to reduce the terror or anything, and I'm not wounded. So let's go through London and go to the Admiralty Survey Office. And let's turn in some of our port reports. Hunter's Keep. I trust the sisters are keeping well. They are citizens of her enduring majesty, notionally. That's that. Every time you turn in a port report, you gain a little bit of favor with the Admiralty, but only if it's the first time you've turned in a report from there. Gain a little bit of money, gain some fuel, and then I'm able to go out and get another port report from Hunter's Keep if I want to. What have the nearly dead been up to in Vanderbite? Nothing special there. Wither, I refuse to ask any questions. I don't want to give them the satisfaction. Cool. Exiled for giving answers. That's Wither for you. Anything new? Nothing much. And now I can speak to the dark spectacled admiral. I don't have an appointment, but I'm to be shown in anyway. You're ushered into his office off Mansion's Pyre, a cramped room with a vast desk. He surveys you across that desk. Ah yes, the merchant captain of whom we hear such complicated things. He can purchase intelligence from, or I can sell intelligence to him, but I don't have any of that right now. I can spend some of the favor that I have gained with the Admiralty to get fuel, and then I won't have to pay for it, but I don't want to do that just yet. I don't have a lot of money. Oh, man. Yeah, let's see what he needs. Information. Visit a port and will be interested in the port report. Visit places of particular interest and will be interested in the strategic information you gain thereby. We will pay you well, don't worry. We understand you can't be expected to act entirely for the love of the Empire. What's left of it? Cool. And now I can go to the university. The university has an inexhaustible appetite for secrets, Z specimens, and other tidbits of esoteric lore. Provide a secret to prove yourself worthy of entry. Dun dun. Oh yes, the university's maritime liaison whispers breathily. Oh yes, this is quite a tasty one. Let me explain it to you. He? Explains, teeth glinting. Alright, cool. I gained 1 pages, and I spent that secret. I am now Favor's antiquarian. And now I can talk to the Alarming Scholar. The Alarming Scholar is mercurial, to say the least. A creature of sudden moods and provoking teeth. Possibly her... Is it her? Appointment as University Maritime Liaison was precautionary. To keep his... Is it his? Razor-sharp enthusiasm from causing too many injuries in the faculty. Ah yes, the Scholar whispers breathily. I have a budget for acquisitions. What have you brought me? This is where I can sell some of my knowledge items. However, all I have is a memory of distant shores and 1 Zee-story. I will sell the memory, a piquant piece of picaresque pilgrimage. As the Alarming Scholar listens, tears well in the depths of those shining, or is it blazing, eyes. They overflow, splashing on the desk blotter. Stop, she sobs. At last. This is too beautiful. Allow me to bring the macaw of memories. I wish each individual tone recalled. And I gain a little bit of money, and slowly I will build up favors. Oh, hey, that's cool. It actually tells me. Neat. I will get 1 more change point eventually, I guess. And that's you have business to attend to, and besides, the Scholar keeps snapping his hurt teeth like a mechanical trap. Yeah. I don't want to carouse. I don't really want to... Even if I go to visit my lodgings, I have to pay 10 echoes to sleep for the night. I don't want to do that. I think that's going to do it. Next I think we're going to set off to try to find Guider's Mourn in the Corsair's Forest. It's somewhere nearby, but we don't know where. So, that's it for the story of Jeff so far.